Hello again, and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. Hello to everyone watching live on Twitch, and if you're watching on YouTube, hello as well. But know that you can join us live for every show at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturdays, or if you're like many of us, 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on a Sunday. Today, we have, what is it, episode 9 of Empire and Shadow, the Compact. So let's quickly go round and introduce ourselves. We are currently, we don't have Zane this week, unfortunately. He is running a charity event called the 24-hour musical, and they got such a good response for their auditions that they had to almost double the time allowed for it, and so he's going to be doing that all day today, and he was doing it all day yesterday, which is fantastic because it's an excellent thing, and I'll probably spruik that for him later. But Jamie, how have you been this week?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm at Muffin Manifesto on Twitter, and I am late to the party on this one. But I discovered Slay the Spire this week, and I'm obsessed. It is very sweet game. If you have not done yourself the service of playing Slay the Spire, I highly recommend it. It's like a deck building board game against the computer and the clock. It's really sweet.
I played a little bit of it. Couple months back, but I'm assuming because it was in early access, I'm assuming they've added more, and it definitely was something I was like, I need to look into this again because it
is out of early access.
It was good.
There
is it?
Three full characters you can play, and the game is just like super sweet, and it does that thing that like Faster Than Light did, where like you just feel compelled to keep playing again and again so that you can get further into it and unlock more difficulties and punish yourself.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I get it. Now I can do this time. Yes, excellent. Yeah, fantastic. Ree, how are you going?
I am alive. I am good.
Always good.
I am hustling my butt off because I need employment. Oh, that was pleasant.
That's
Somebody
the
gotta
employment
wake
bell.
up. Yes, and you know what? It did ring today. I got myself some work, and I'm feeling a lot brighter than I have been. So,
awesome.
you know, hustle, and you too can have really mediocre dreams come true.
Yes. Dreams of employment and food and shelter.
Yes, and some money. Some.
Ah.
God. But yeah, good stuff.
All right, Chantal, how are you? Apparently, you're still the man, Alex Smith.
Yeah.
I am
we
the man, Alex
should
Smith.
really actually read this before we start. I think we've done this a couple of times. We just don't read our name tags anymore.
No, never.
Sorry.
You get distracted. I am Chantal B. And I am sweating while I sit still because it's hot. Who needs to move to sweat?
Yes. Oh goodness. Welcome to every show we've done of this. That's my existence. Yeah. Welcome. It's awful, and I hate it.
Tell me that wherever we're going in character is really cold.
Oh God, no, please.
It's suddenly snowing. I don't know what's going. It's really weird. Yeah. And I speak like as Jamie talking about like being late to getting into a game. I this week got around to playing Doki Doki Literature Club, and that was a game that I've now played. I think I've been telling people that it managed to both be exactly what I expected it to be, while at the same time being something I was not prepared for.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. So that was Yeah. I think I was like, I'm going to play a game. It's going to be weird and disturbing. And then partway through, for not those reasons, just sitting there in tears and just sort of staring at the computer, wondering why my life choices got me here. It's like, oh, good. Good. Okay, well, let's keep playing, I guess. Speaking of being in tears, let's get into this. Let's move on to the game. Although before we move on to the game, we should probably thank all of our sponsors who aren't bringing us tears. They're bringing us all sorts of fun things, like Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All the roles that you're going to be seeing tonight are using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer, and 40k minis for 20% off. And this week, check out our sponsor, Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. If we hit 20 retweets, then we will give away a set of dice to the chat. If you type into chat !tweet, it will bring you a link to said tweet, and all you have to do is retweet it, and we can get some dice out to you guys. You can also do !sponsor, which will give you relevant links to all three sponsors. And as a reminder, as with all of the Encounter Roleplay games, you can interact with today's game by making donations. And you can give our players crits or critical fails, wild magic surges, or pets. !donate to do that. And I believe we're actually bringing the pet that we got all this week ago. Raw 1 has been repaired. And if I understand correctly, we are now bringing them along to make up for the lost player, which I do quite like, because when we were given Raw 1, it was specifically as a reference to, I think they were called shivs in the first of the new XCOM games, and who I specifically was like, if you Sparks in the second one, I think. But I think this one was more of a shiv from the first one, because Sparks can like level up, and where shivs were more sort of like you had to actually upgrade them, but they filled in a space when there was a gap. And I don't think I ever actually used them when I played the game, because they didn't level up. But that's basically what Raw 1 is for us. And as I said in the tunnel, always remember that you can clip anything you see that you like, so that we can use them for highlight reels and on Twitter. But without further ado, let us jump into the game. So, this past week, when I got the community to vote on what they wanted the compact to focus on, in either upgrading or putting just what they wanted to put their resources towards, they voted that they wanted the book that you all liberated. They wanted the focus on researching and finding out what the deal was and what information you could get from that. And so that's exactly what has happened. And what's been discovered is that there is a reference to a symbol similar to, but not quite the same as, the one you've been seeing all around the circle with the vertical oval inside, or sometimes it's just the oval with like an eye within that, as a symbol that seems to be popping up. And it seems like there's a symbol similar to that, and it's connected to a cathedral that is within Cathedral. Now, Cathedral is the capital. It's both the name of the capital city and the province that the city is in. So there is this ruined cathedral within this province that is, I mean, somehow tied to this symbol, it seems. And so you've been sent to investigate. Now, the issue being, of course, that 10 years ago, the orc drudge murdered the emperor and has essentially claimed the throne, and the orcs completely control the capital province. So you were going in posing as mercenary guards for a diplomatic convoy. You the convoy is being sent from the Holy Kingdom. It is they're enacting in a show of goodwill. Both sides are doing a prisoner exchange, and so you are within this convoy. You've been traveling for a few days, but once you arrive at your destination, which is a place called Grimnir Keep, you will need to then slip away and head to this cathedral, but you need to be back by the next day, because the convoy is only going to stay for roughly 24 hours and before leaving, because if you're not with that convoy, it's going to be very difficult for you to get out of this province. Very least, it's going to be a lot more time consuming. So as this convoy approaches Grimnir Keep, how about we go around and introduce which agents we are playing this week? Jamie, who are you playing?
I will be playing the mysterious and wonderful Madame Amelia. She is a tall woman with very gaunt skin, and I think maybe the first shot we see of her in this episode is her actually tinkering with Raw One, just fixing up some loose bolts and nuts on him as the convoy is getting on its way.
Cool. Ree, who are you playing?
I appear in the shot as the thin, sort of malnourished and unkempt figure of Sorry the orc. They are covered in self-harm scars, and they have the tattoo of the Ouroboros either on their back or their chest. It moves. You never know where it's going to be. And they're looking considerably more focused than they have in the past, having found their sort of calling in their rangerhood, shall we say, their rangerdom, and is looking forward to sort of becoming the focused hunter they were always kind of meant to be. All in the name, of course, of their god.
Of the new god. Yeah, awesome.
That one.
Awesome. The Ouroboros, probably, if you are unfamiliar with the setting, the Ouroboros is the symbol of the cult of the new god, which is the major religion in the empire. Chantal, who are you playing today?
Well, I'm going to be playing Sly.
Great.
And currently, he looks like a human male, with several attractive physical qualities, making me look quite comely.
That is Sly's type. Yes, he does sort of.
Yes.
He does try. I
And the
completely forgot.
me, I'm standing with my chest puffed out because, of course, I am the leader.
Sly, darling, could you pass me that screwdriver, please?
Oh God.
I look at the screwdriver. I look at Amelia. Darling. Yes. I pass the screwdriver.
I do everything in my power to get like grease all over Sly.
I jump back out of the way. None of this.
I was just about to say it's really nice seeing these two working better together, and then no.
Yeah, no.
I guess it is interesting that these are given that we are doing a mission that was specifically based on research done on the book that you found from the auction house. This is actually the team that found the book. These are the three. So I can only imagine that you all three volunteered to want to follow up on what you learnt last time. But as I said, you are arriving at Grimnir Keep. Grimnir Keep is one of 4 strongholds that Drudge had built around the countryside of Caicrus, in that everyone is kind of on that war footing. It's so far been nothing. There's nothing been except for a few small skirmishes, but everyone is kind of on edge. At least like the majority of the population is like, it's been 10 years since the uprising, so everyone's kind of getting back to what they were doing, but everyone is still very wary. And as you've been traveling through the countryside, it is quite evident, like there's signs of both conflict, but also things having gone back to normal. You've passed farms, you've passed some communities that, if you didn't know better, could be anywhere else in the empire. If you didn't, it's currently being held hostage by this army of orcs. But they still need to eat. They still need farms. So people were put back to work. Initially, sometimes they were encouraged, quite firmly to do so. But it seems to have, at least on the surface, have settled. So this is probably, for all 3 of you, maybe the first time you've been, it could be the first time you've been into Caicrus at all, but at least it's been the first time in a while, if you have been here previously. But yeah, you arrive at Grimnir Keep. Everyone sort of starts busying away. The diplomats start doing more official business. The guards are sort of there, and they've got like personal guards. You've been more of a caravan guard, so specifically because you've kind of got, until they need to leave again, you've kind of just got free reign. No one really cares. As long as you're not making trouble, no one really cares what you're doing, which was exactly why this was the cover that you chose. So do you do anything while you're at the fort, or do you kind of just immediately set off? Given the time is, it'll probably take you the better part of the day, of the remaining day at least. It's about noonish right now. It's probably take you the better part of the rest of the day to arrive at this ruined cathedral.
The one thing I will do is, after I've finished tinkering on roll 1, Amelia reaches into this bag of parts and spare things that she has and spends a minute assembling herself a pistol, which is the first time we've seen a firearm, I think, in this campaign.
Yeah, I mean, the firearms definitely exist, but they are sort of expensive and somewhat temperamental. So being able to sort of bodge one together from spare parts is super useful, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, you sort of. What is it like? How? Sorry, you go.
Sorry. No.
I was going to say, well, given it's like made out of, spare parts, like how like, what does it look like?
Yeah, I think it has like a very like clockwork look to it. Like there are visible cogs and stuff on the handle and where it connects to the barrel. But then the barrels themselves are sort of like almost scaled.
Okay. Cool. He still had a few spare parts, knocking around in the bag, but did take most of them to.
Yeah, I presume I'll use the rest for ammunition.
Yeah, I guess actually.
Mm.
How much do bullets cost? That's not something I've had to think
of.
of.
I'll work it out. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, you can make
I
a
like
whole
the
bunch
sound
of
of nothing.
I mean, we haven't really done but the I've been working on the assumption that we're basically doing what they call the abstract method of tracking ammunition. So the first 5 shots are fine, but after that, if you critically fail on your attack roll, you've run out of ammunition. At which point you can build more essentially. Because I think everyone else, because Sari's got a crossbow and Sly also has a crossbow. Has a bow.
Sly has a bow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. That definitely, it only takes you a minute, doesn't it, to do that? So that's
a minute to
very
use
easily
the artificer's bag.
Very easily done. And do the other two want to do anything before you set off?
Sari's going to observe Amelia constructing this gun with a little bit of awe and fear, and they're gonna say, "You are a maker of things, but not a maker of beings." I think. And then they're just gonna watch Amelia really closely and a little bit skeptical and disturbed.
An idea for a poem.
Well, I thought about it more and more, and I was like, oh, wait a second. Given the vibe that Amelia's given off, that's something Sari is not fond of. Like, when you put them together, Sari is very much against anything of necromantic nature.
This is science, not necromancy.
But Amelia herself is giving off some vibes.
Yeah, she definitely. You definitely particularly as a you've got slightly better senses than a human, so you've probably definitely picked up on a whiff something a bit funky, which Amelia generally has perfumes and various spices that she sort of wears to conceal it for the most part, but
that scent of decay underneath, and I
there's
think
there's that edge to it.
I think Sari respects Amelia, but also is like something's not right.
Just sort of trying to work it through and be like, well, what's going on here? Cool.
I think Sly will spend time going around to everyone else in the convoy and trying to gather rumors that he can perhaps use against others.
Oh, sure. About anything particular or just in general?
Oh, in general. It's good to know everyone. Know the word on the street.
Yeah. Where is that? There it is. Make a perception roll, which you get a pretty big bonus to. You get a +4 to this. So it's just put a +2 in the modifier box and then make an intelligence roll. And it should be fine.
And then make an intelligence. Got it. No.
Yeah, you don't. There's definitely a lot of they're not. There's a lot of stuff. There's guards off duty. They like to chat. So there's you definitely get a lot of stuff, but there's nothing that is particularly useful. A lot of talk of home. A lot of stuff where things that speculation that you, given your position, you just know is not accurate. So you've sort of gone, oh well, this was good effort, but
to the person that actually is just being inaccurate, I'll say, why would you make up something like that? And I'll turn on my heel and leave.
Just really frustrating. I put all this effort in. Dumb story. Yeah. All right. So I'm guessing you guys head off at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Who has? Right.
Point of order. Emil,
Yeah.
what's the firearm made of?
Yeah, it would be like all sorts of different metals.
Okay,
Not for
so there would be some
touching.
iron in that.
Definitely.
Not for touchy. No. Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah. Sly is a changeling, or which is a fey being, and fey beings do not like iron in general or any iron alloy. So steel is bad news. All of your like metal equipment, Chantel, would be bronze, which is when you are trying to be like secret, you sort of like try not to draw attention to that fact, because it's a bit of a giveaway that you are that something somewhat avoiding iron. Maybe not in more sort of cosmopolitan areas. They might not think too much about it because they just don't think too much about Fae in general. But anyone in like when you get into more remote areas, that would just be a massive warning. So you have to do it because you can't keep your disguise up if you start touching iron, but you don't want people to really know too much about it. But I want Jamie. Can you make a flat D20 roll, but with 3 boons?
Okay. That is not a great boon, but it's a 14.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so you're able with your knowledge as a ranger. Not ranger. Your various, being that you have been an explorer before. Sorry, I was looking at but this is before Amelia. You've been an explorer. You sort of how to get around. So you are able to, with assistance from you all 3 of you make good time getting to this cathedral. And as I said, it does take the most of the rest of the day. So as you're getting, it's sort of like it's the last. You're having the sun is in the process of like it's probably starting to set. You're in the last few you maybe got like probably less than an hour left of daylight. But you have approached this cathedral. It's quite large, but definitely ruined cathedral. Hasn't been used, as far as you're aware, it hasn't really been used for centuries. Whatever group used to run this, were wiped out by the church, by the cult of the new god. Some probably 3 and a bit centuries ago. You aren't clear why. There's no record that you were able to find as to why that was the case. But it also seems like they decided not to keep using the cathedral, and they just shut it down and left it. And it's since been it's now very overgrown. As you approach, you can see that it was probably very impressive in its day, but now one of the main it's got these like spires coming up from it, and one of the main ones has just crumbled. And quite awkwardly, as you arrive, you quickly realize that the spire that's collapsed has actually, it seems, collapsed around the main entrance. So at the very least, the main entrance does not look viable as a way to get inside.
All right. Sorry, would like to do their scouty thing, and I'd like to look around for any other obvious entrances.
Yeah, make a perception roll with 2 boons.
Okie doke.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Okie doke. Awesome. And perception, intellect, isn't it?
Yes. Well, for you, because of your bonus, it's just a flat D20 roll. So if you just chuck the D20, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Oh,
Ah,
so
thanks for
sorry.
saving me from that.
It's not you. You don't fail to find an entrance. It just takes a bit of time. It is quite overgrown, and you are able but you eventually do get through some of this like foliage, and you come across a sort of like a side entrance that is it was clearly boarded up, but you also come across a person. There's they're facing away from you, and they don't seem to have noticed you initially, at least. But it seems to be an older person, grey hair. They're wearing a kind of linen, like a cassock kind of thing, like a priest's cassock.
All right, I'm gonna hold up my
Cossack, I think is the-
crossbow.
Not Cossack. That's the group.
Like the dance, the Russian. He's Cossack dancing.
He's Cossack dancing. No. What a
Cassock. Okay, I'm gonna hold up my crossbow and say, "Ho, friend, turn."
So you should not insult people you've never met.
Oh, am I with other people? Oh, do we all go around together?
I
would
assume
be up to the
I
others.
was staying back.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's fine if you want to come with me. I was under the impression I was alone. But
I would have followed.
Right, so
Fair enough.
Sly and Star and Amelia and I assume roll one stayed at the entrance.
Yeah, we're waiting to hear what the plan is.
This figure turns into slightly, and he's got a bit of a hunch to it. He seems to be quite an old man. And he turns and he sort of looks at, and he sees the two of you, and he sort of goes, it's been, I don't think I've ever seen anyone else here. Hello. Who are you?
it is of little importance. Is there a way in?
And he sort of thinks, and he's like, in to the ruins?
Yes. Where else?
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I've never actually been inside myself, but it's not I don't know any direct way, but I guess if you were able to force your way, and he sort of points at the boarded up door. He's like, if you seem like a strong fellow, why do you want to go inside?
To pray. Lots. For a long time. Pray. Yep, pray. Praying is what we're gonna do in excess. Thanks. Gonna work my way back
My
towards the
friend, you're
boarded
wearing
door.
priest robes.
Yes. I was, well, I guess am a priest. He sort of smiles at
This is
that.
a cathedral.
This is a ruined cathedral. It hasn't been used in centuries. I like to come here to reflect and have time to myself, but I certainly wouldn't want to go inside, though I guess not alone. If you have friends, that might be different. This is not a good place. This is a very, well, it has memories of some very dark practices, and I'm led to believe some even darker magics. this place, all I would imagine you could find inside is darkness and madness. Why would you want to go in there?
Sorry's going to call back over their shoulder. Praying.
Okay. I admit, I guess I've always been curious, but anyway, as far as I'm aware, this would be your best option of getting in. Again, pointing at the door, unless you wanted to climb over one of the walls to go and try. And there's a few holes, but that would require. Well, I don't know how equipped you are for climbing. I'm certainly not.
You said you come here to reflect.
Yeah, I find, well, no, as I said, no one else comes here. It's got a bad reputation, but during the day, it's quite nice out here. Bit foreboding at night. You hear things from inside that are off-putting. But during the day, it's peaceful. It's a way for me to have alone time, I guess. Get away from my worries, as it were.
Where's your normal church?
Oh, it's long gone now. He looks a bit wistful.
Sly's gonna look at his clothes, look at the cathedral, look at his clothes, and take maybe 3 healthy steps back.
Maybe
sort of-
healthy.
He sort of gives you. He looks back at the, like, he follows your glance back at the cathedral and then just starts laughing. He's like, not that long ago. No, during the uprising, it was. Well, they made an example of my town, and I was. Well, I was spared. Not a lot of call for an old priest these days, at least in this area. So I do what I can.
Right. Well, we have a lot of praying to do.
I'm not. He's like, I'm not stopping you.
I'm
In
gonna
fact, if
yell to
it's
roll
okay,
one.
I might. Yeah. If he goes, if it's this all right with you, I am curious about the inside, and I certainly I won't be able to help you in any. Well, I'm old. I certainly can't any kind of dangers. I'll be useless. But I do know some of the history, and perhaps I could help with some insights if it's all the same to you. I don't want to be a bother, of course.
Who's your god? Who do you follow and worship?
Well, the new god, of course.
Right answer. You're in. And then Sari is gonna go up to roll one and be like, door, it's gotta go. Do it.
It's gotta go.
I think this is the first time we actually see Amelia since we left the keep. And whereas before she was wearing like well-made but sort of like basic clothes to work in, like a shirt and trousers, she's now like dressed entirely to the nines. If you want to know what she's wearing, you can Google image search the Ling Chi Royal Academy dress. It's like gothic Lolita to the max, and she's got like a cape over her shoulders.
Might want to chuck the spelling of that into the Twitch chat.
Yeah, it is Lingxi, Lingxi. It's amazing, and yeah, as you say that, sorry, Amelia looks at you and goes, "Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, darling. I didn't want to go climbing around in those bushes."
And then Roll One took off like a motorcycle and flew into the door.
That's some great foley you did. I don't know how you did that.
Magic.
Yeah, Raw One kind of just like puts like it just sort of with a single like swipe down with a paw, it just kind of like tears away a lot of the boarding up that they've done, and then with a second sort of push, the door just like shatters inwards, and you can. It's the way, and then sort of steps. Then it just sort of steps aside and waits.
I'm gonna look in first. I'm so scouty. Sari's gonna like push forward and say, "I will do this, 'cause it's my thing now." And I want to look around the space.
Make a perception roll. With a boon. You've got shadow sight, I believe. Yes. Okay.
Yes, I do. So 1 boon and then a straight D20, right? Because it all cancels out.
Yes. All your various bonuses.
Good. Yes, cool. Woo! Oh, that's better. 17.
This is kind of like the congregation area, the main sort of area of worship. So there are old but now quite rotten pews, lining in rows. There's what would be an altar on one end. You can see the what is the main entrance. There's still a bit of rubble on this side as well, but not as much as was on the outside. But as you do, you can sort of look up, and there's still it's quite a high ceiling, and so it does go from shadow into just darkness, very up. So it's difficult for you to see up into there, but you do hear a kind of scuttling noise coming from above.
Oh crap! I'm gonna immediately look up with my crossbow. Do I notice anything immediately, or is it very much just swallowed?
It's sort of up and kind of swallowed by the. So you can see because you can see into shadow, but the darkness is okay. But you can tell you think you're seeing movement up around what is probably the ceiling.
I hope it's not spiders. I really, really don't like spiders. And then I'm going to proceed into the space cautiously with my crossbow out. Moving forward towards, I suppose, like you said, it's the congregation area, so towards the front of the congregation, the fucking pedestal, sorry. Oh, I can swear. It's fine. Forget where I am. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm with children. And I'm like, no, right now, it's fine.
I mean... You've seen some of our jokes, right? Like, I mean, yeah. You had it. What are the other two doing?
I will.
I'll turn to Amelia.
You go.
And say, "After you, my dear."
Oh yes, of course. Your classic leadership style from the back. And she just like strides into the hall. There has to be
someone to lead.
Looks around.
So as Amelia goes in, as opposed to the other two, has dark sight, not shadow sight. So when you look up, it is spiders.
Oh
you
god
see,
damn!
you see these large, these quite large spiders have clearly made a kind of a nest up in this vaulted ceiling of the cathedral, and they're sort of moving around. They don't seem to have noticed you yet, though.
I think sorry, unfortunately, reactively fires at one when if you say no. Wait, I should say, does Amelia announce the spiders?
I think, they say, we have some friends up in the rafters. They have many legs apiece. Do they seem to be doing anything, or are they just like hanging out up there, Sam?
I mean, it looks like a nest, so it looks like they're sort of tending to this this nest that they've made.
Yeah, but they're not like obviously slavering at the chance to come and eat some adventurers.
They haven't. No, they haven't. It doesn't seem like they're not paying you attention at all. As far as you can tell.
They seem harmless, darlings. Let us continue on.
I'm gonna say sorry has not understood that you were implying they were spiders. Sorry doesn't have that level of sort of double processing. And it's gonna be like, but they're not spiders, are they?
It would be difficult to make that distinction.
Oh, and nods like I understand, and continues forward.
Those are words.
Nuance of language.
Having said that, slide. Sorry, you go.
Is that that priest guy following us?
He hasn't. He's still outside with Sly and Roll One.
Oh, okay.
Oh, very good.
Speaking of Sly and Roll One, I assume you follow.
Yes, we do.
Now, see, the thing is, Roll One is quite loud. So,
Oh dear.
Are you going to try to not have Roll One be loud?
Yes. Yes. If that's an option.
I mean, it's sort of like it just means the instruction can't just be go inside, but it'd just be like go inside carefully kind of thing. Right. If that is what you wish to do, but it is tricky.
Rule 1.
For
prowl quietly inside.
All right, we'll give this a whirl. No.
Bad
Roll 1.
Bad.
No, roll 1 sort of like walks through, and it's just like between just like the mechanical sound of it moving, and as it just like it just probably just walks through one of the pews and just crushes it underfoot, and all that. Yeah, the racket, you do sort of hear this, like the skittering stops and is replaced with a hissing, and Amelia is the only one who can actually see, but there's a few there's a bunch of multiple groups of 8 eyes have now swiveled across to focus on you, and they are going to they are now coming down at you.
They are coming down towards us.
Yeah, they are rushing down the walls, and the columns within this cathedral.
Okay, sorry is the second they come into sight gonna fire wildly at one and also shrink.
Well, so so they're not. They're not. You can definitely take a fast action to prepare to shoot, because they're not top of the round of combat. They're not in sight for you yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna. But if you do a prepared action, and yeah, that is basically all good.
Like that's how I prepare.
I mean, even without seeing, you can definitely hear that something's that skittering sound is now coming closer. So you're very much aware of that. Anyone else doing a fast action?
Is it an action to get roll one to do something, or do I just tell her to do it?
It's like short orders are fine, and then roll one will always go in the fast round.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
So I'll say, roll one, attack the skitterers.
Yes. It sort of crouches into a sort of, has a kind of like that feline sort of, that crouch ready to pounce kind of look, but massive. This like 2 meter long lion, just like.
Is it an action to light a lantern?
I think so, and I can interact with item.
Yeah.
Kind of way.
Yeah,
use an item.
Yeah. So Amelia pulls a lantern out of their backpack and strikes it alive and says, "Look alive, here they come."
Double check. How much light does a lantern give off?
I can't answer that, GM.
Enough that we can all see perfectly.
It doesn't actually say. It fills an area. Oh, yeah, 10-yard radius. 10, so...
Yes. Sure. Yeah, okay. So 10 meters around you is lit, which kind of lights a decent amount of this space, but doesn't go quite high enough to immediately see these creatures. Roll one is, as I said, is just sort of like posed and ready, and then the spiders will double check because I got a thing. Yeah, so they kind of just come careening down the sides of the wall, which does mean sorry, you now do see, this large hairy spider appears coming down the wall, and you can take a shot. You will get an additional boon, so you get 2 boons on this roll.
And I'm back. What I miss?
The spiders. You can now see this. You can now see that there are 4 spiders coming down the walls of the cathedral, and so you can take your prepared action and get 2 boons on your roll because you were prepared to shoot them.
Plus, I get another boon for a weapon attack. Is that correct?
Well, you get. I'm counting both. Like, so it's a boon for being prepared and a boon for doing the weapon attack.
All right, gotcha. And it is a finesse weapon. Come on. There we go. Sweet. 19.
Yeah, that's a hit.
That's my crossbow. I'm going to roll it. That is 7 points of damage.
7 damage?
Yep.
Yeah. Damn.
The funk. And I just want it to be pinned to the wall. And the shriek.
I mean, you want that.
Oh, is it still good?
You can definitely want that. That's totally fine.
They're
it definitely shrieks.
Strong spiders.
Well, good. I mean, like, we're talking about a spider that's like, probably got like.
They could take a crossbow bolt through the abdomen.
Well,
Jeez.
It's got.
As an Australian, you think I would know that and not be surprised, but
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, just think of like an Australian huntsman, but the size of a person. Yeah. Stream just crashes. It's like,
Yeah, everyone's
nope.
like,
Or,
just
Nope.
all of the viewers just logged off. They're like, nope.
yeah.
Just
It's
nope.
Hell
it's-
to the no.
Nope. It's not even rage quit, it's sad quit.
Yeah, I love the idea that it's So I shoot the spider and I'm shrieking, and the spider shrieks, and then I shriek louder at its shrieking.
it's like,
That's how I want that to play out. Yeah.
Just-
Just escalating shrieks.
but they will. They do sort of. They're moving quite quickly. As if anyone's seen a spider run. Yeah.
Stop it.
Majestic eight-legged cheetah. And so they all sort of drop down to the ground and then just like pelt towards you. And so there's going to be one on each of the the four things that are here. So starting with sorry. One of them tries to lunge at you, but you're able to hold it off.
No.
Amelia, I think your defense is better than 10, correct?
It is. I was standing right near the entrance. Are they throughout the entire?
Yeah, they've come down the walls.
Okay.
So they've basically like they've moved down. Essentially, they're moving and charging. And so they've rushed down the walls and they're now careening at you at a pace. And Sly, I think that hits you. What's your
Yes, it
defense?
does.
Okay.
13.
Just double check. Because I think as a changeling, you are... Oh, no, it's disease you're immune to. Never mind.
Yeah. No.
All right, you take 1 point of damage, but I need you to
Ow!
also make a strength roll, please.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah, totally fine. And then on roll 1, it sort of bites down, but roll 1 is a big robot, doesn't do too much to them. And yeah, end of the round, back to the top. Who's
Okay.
doing it? Top of the round.
Hey, quick question. So I want to drop my
Yes.
crossbow and change over to my Morningstar and shield. Does that cost? Do I need to go in the slow round so that I can do that, or can I just like drop my crossbow and pull it out?
Yes. So when it comes to like switching around weapons, it's a free action, but you can only do it. You can only do once in the fast round, and you can do it twice in the slow round.
Slow?
So if you want to get the
Okay.
Morningstar and the shield, then it needs to be in the slow round.
I'm just gonna get the Morningstar out.
Yeah. Oh, hang on.
It just occurred to me.
Before you
Yeah, does
do
that
that-
change my defense?
Well, getting the shield out would, because the shield is adding 2 to your defense currently.
So it's not what my current defense is listed. I just wanted to check. So
Your current defense is with the shield, yes. So without the shield,
okay,
it's 2
so
less.
I need to keep
it
that
still
in
didn't
mind.
hit you.
Because earlier, no, it didn't. But for
but
future reference,
I've just remembered that I didn't do roll one's prepared attack. So just
okay, got it.
quickly do that.
Ooh.
Yep.
Roll 1.
Oof, booyah!
6 damage.
Thank you,
and
Roland.
then so it does 17 damage total. Yeah, it's not dead, but it's not looking great. The one on roll 1.
Hurting. Okay, I'm gonna take my fast action. Is the one that came up to me and attacked me? Can I swing my Morningstar at it?
Certainly can.
Which I roll with a boon. Nice, and then swing a my Morningstar. Oh, that's not great. Oh, thank God for boons. 13.
Ooh. No, it manages to get out of the way.
Oh,
Fruitcake. That is
Right.
not good. Well, swing and a miss. Sorry.
Anyone else going fast?
Too much
Yep,
panic
I'm gonna
raking
go fast.
and waving.
I'm going to say, die! Die! And I'm going to stab it.
Using trickery as a rogue.
Yes.
So
Yes,
you get
I am.
a boon on that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Once for all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. 20 plus as well.
is
So
that
you don't crit as a rogue, but you do get to make you basically get to take another turn at some point. Just tell me I'm taking another turn. And you want to do the long knife with tricky and backstab for all the damage.
with trickery and backstab? How do I backstab? What?
So backstab is just if you're attacking someone with a boon. In melee,
right, okay.
I believe.
Then I'm doing that.
Basic or
Die!
Yeah. Cut it pretty severely, but it's still coming at you.
Can I go again?
If you want, yeah, you can just go immediately. Just make another attack.
There's a great
You won't get the
stab it.
you won't get the trickery bonus. So you'll just have to make the roll. It's a flat roll and just do flat damage, but yeah. That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, your exploit
I'm just
opportunity
thinking-
for rolling a 20 only goes once per round, so you don't get to keep chaining it
Yeah.
off, but you do hit. But this is just flat damage for the knife. No, just
Is
just
it
the.
dead? That's
So
right.
because you didn't,
I see.
but you rolled a 3. You got a 3.
Oh.
So you did.
Okay.
No, it's not. But it's it's not looking great.
They were both great, so yeah.
Anyone else going fast?
Sam, do range weapons get a bane in melee?
I believe so. Yes. Maybe not offhand ones. I'm okay. I mean, I'm assuming you mean the pistol. I'm okay with using the pistol close up.
Okay.
Without a
In
penalty.
that case,
That makes sense.
yeah, Amelia says, Victor, a little help, please. And from out under her cape, this mechanical four-legged snake thing just like climbs down her body and lunges at the spider that's attacking her.
Surely a four-legged snake thing is a lizard.
Yeah, I mean its body is very long and cylindrical.
Yeah, it's a long.
I suppose
sort
some
of,
lizards are like that, but it definitely has
Yeah.
the appearance of a snake. But
It's
it's sort of
yeah.
small.
Snake with
more of
legs.
it looks like a snake with legs rather than a lizard. Yeah, that's
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It does definitely look different. Yes.
Okay, so of course Victor only got a 6 to hit, so I assume that's a miss.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's no.
Okay, and then yeah, Amelia, her pentagram necklace starts glowing, and she's going to make an augmented pistol attack, which means
Woo!
when she
Awesome.
casts augmented attack, she gets a boon on the attack and can use intelligence instead of the normal ability.
Yeah. Love it.
So the boon is 3. Here's the attack. Does a 16 hit?
Hits. Definitely.
Yeah, so there's a loud resounding crack as the pistol goes off right in this thing's face.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yes.
Guns are fun.
They're all the spiders except for the one on Sorry are not. They're not looking good. But they're not dead either.
Which one did
well,
I
having
shoot
said that-
earlier?
You shot the one that's on Amelia currently.
Ah, got it.
Oh, is it dead then?
No. All three of them are
Okay.
about the look roughly the same kind of messed up. Though having said that,
Okay.
roll one will struggle. Roll one
That's right.
is having a hard time hitting this spider. And the spiders themselves will the one on sorry just misses. On Amelia, I think that's a hit. 15.
Yeah, let me just. No, I don't have any spells that would help. I should have used this. I should have used a spell, but I forgot. So, yep, that hits.
Yeah. All right. Well, you take. Come on. There is 3 damage. I think you also don't have to worry about poison, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I want to double check that.
That's
so I was wrong before.
No,
you don't. Yeah, this completely normal human with dark sight and immunity to poison. Don't worry about it.
Hello, skin.
Yeah, and smells
And
of
that
death.
rotting smell.
It's fine.
Mm.
It's fine.
Totally
Don't worry about
fine.
Everything's
No
fine.
further investigation.
On Sly, also hits.
Oof, that is a hit.
Take 3 damage, and you will need to take a strength roll.
Why didn't it hurt you?
Well,
12? No, 11.
didn't hurt you either. It's fine.
It didn't
You're
hurt
both
me,
equal.
yay.
You, as far as you can see, both of you are equally resistant.
Nah.
We are equally alive.
And then on roll 1, Beth does really well, which is except for damage because I mean it's a spider biting a metal thing, so it's
Hey, remember Lost in Space? Them spiders bit through lots of metal things. Maybe these are like
it's having a good go. Like it's definitely making an impact, but roll 1 is.
I'm just saying, never underestimate the
tanky.
spider.
Like it's probably horrifying watching a spider like gouge metal while a similar spider is trying to gouge you. But we're at the top of the round, so who wants to do things to these spiders?
Sure, I will. I'm gonna. Oh wait, no, don't come to me. I wanted to do something and I have to check it again. Somebody else go. Bye.
I'm going to attack.
Yep, with the
With
boons trickery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You hit. Roll with all the bonus, all the extra damage. All of the extra damage.
All of the extra damage.
Yeah, it's dead. It's sort of as it lunges at you, you sort of skewer it through its head, and it just drops.
Just from a flavor perspective, can I just keep stabbing? Die, 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 die,
Yes.
die.
Yes. It's like, God, no! It's always important to make sure. Amelia, is Amelia doing anything?
Yeah. Well, Victor's gonna try and attack it again.
Right, yep.
So I'll start there.
Ooh.
Victor is
No.
as useless as always. Okay.
Poor Victor.
He's very little.
That
He's
showed
trying
up
to
as
get
a
to
natural 20 on mine. That was sad.
What?
Can I?
It showed up as a
Alright, I
natural
can-
20 on my screen.
Oh, weird.
What? It definitely rolled a 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Amelia drops the pistol and reaches out towards Victor, and as she does so, his back opens up, and her war pick just comes out of his back, and she grabs it and is going to attempt to smash the crap out of this spider.
Yeah.
And as she does so, her her amulet glows again, and you see glowing blue pentacles in the circle of her eyes. I'm going to use Epiphany to give myself. I get to roll the d20 twice and use the higher number on the dice.
Awesome.
Do I want to augmented attack as well? No. Yeah, all right. Why not? We'll burn things. Okay, so it's also an augmented attack.
I don't know if you can do both.
Epiphany is a triggered action.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. I remember.
I mean, you could probably cast it after you roll. Like you roll the first one and then trigger action to.
Well, it does specifically say roll 2 and use the higher, not like.
Okay, yeah,
roll it.
that.
So that's why I thought you
that,
might have to use it
yeah,
beforehand.
no. If it's specifically saying that, then that's the case. Yeah.
Well, then I will hit the first d20, which makes it a 23.
Yeah, definitely.
But as a magician, I don't have any crit stuff, so it's just
No, not on your melee attack at least.
6 damage.
Having said that, you drive the pick through its brain, and it
Yeah, smushy spider.
slumps to the ground.
All right, Sorry is gonna jump in.
Yeah.
The fast round, and now remember, it's like sorry, I had to take a second. I was thinking about it's like that's right, my renewed purpose. I pray, I track things. So I have this great idea, completely uninfluenced by anybody else, where I decide I'm going to cast track prey on the spider immediately in front of me because that's a thing I could do, and I knew that, and I'm great. And this is my job now. And I'm also going to use my free action to bring up my shield, so that bolsters my defense. So now I get 2 boons, but I'm going to throw one of those boons away to do an unbalancing attack, because the one on me still hasn't taken any damage. And I'm going to attempt to knock it over, make it fall prone.
Yeah. I love all of it.
Okay, great. Rolling a boon. Not a great boon, but it'll do. And then I'm going to use my Morning Star. Wait, no, I'm not, because I'm going to roll my strength first. Please don't. Oh, son of a dick nuts.
Oh.
Well, at least my defense is up.
Yeah.
I was like, you pray, and then also like, still like, spiders. I imagine that Sorry is like deathly shrieking.
It's just it's probably like you've thrown all pretense out the window of like because you're trained in this, but now you're just like you've just forgotten a lot of that training. You're just flailing at this.
I think
spider,
so,
and it's not effective.
There's something very unworldly about spiders. I think Sorry is almost convinced that there is something undead about them in their very being.
It's like nah, these are not okay. Wow. Okay, so Raw 1 just crushes the spider that it's fighting.
Woo.
I think it probably puts a paw through the spider.
Oof.
And then sort of has to like use the other one to pull itself out. So it's got one leg just covered up to like, I guess what would be the elbow in just spider ichor. And so the only remaining spider is the one on Sorry. And it will.
This whole time I haven't hit it once. I'm just flailing.
I mean, it's not really it's not hitting you either. Like to be fair, you're keeping it at bay. You're not actually doing damage.
Right. That was the plan all along.
But we're at the top of the route, so.
All right. Amelia drops her pick back into Victor's back and reaches out her hand as like a pentacle appears in front of it, very magical girl style. And as she reaches through, a magic wrench appears in it, and she chucks it at Sorry Spider.
Cool.
Magic wrench attack. Go. Oh, it's only a 5 to hit.
I love the idea that it bounces next to it. It just scares Sorry more. Like Sorry's like, they're just
it's a spider mechanic. A spider mechanic. No.
I'm gonna, if I can take my turn, if that's all right, I'll swing down.
You can take your turn. Yeah.
I've still got track prey on it. I'm not gonna do the unbalancing attacks. I'm gonna take both boons because I feel like I need it at this point.
Yeah, focus up.
Yeah, okay, all right. And this time I feel like I'm really measuring it. I've like stopped flailing and I'm like, I gotta do this. And I do.
Oh, you did.
26. I
Oh
really
man,
do this.
with forceful, with the crit as well. Yeah, forceful strike and everything.
Great. So I'm going to roll with forceful strike. So I've been flailing this whole time, and then it's a 13 where I'm just like smash right on its head.
Wow.
It's not dead, but it's not. It's now sort of like it's been sort of skittering around you and jumping, but then he's landed a solid blow, and it's now just sort of seems a lot slower and a lot more groggy.
Yeah, then Astrid has
Sly,
guided my hand.
Yes.
I am indeed going to go fast. Am I within range of, if I were to use my bow?
Yeah, if you want to pull out,
like you want to shoot me?
A bow.
No, the
If you
spider.
want to shoot the
cool.
spider. Yes, you are.
Ideally.
You are within range. You can't backstab with the bow though. Just so you're
Okay.
aware. But you can.
Am I within?
Like, to be fair, yeah. If you use trickery, you'll still get the boon and you'll get the bonus damage from trickery. So that will still be fine.
I will do this thing. Yeah. No,
No.
I think truly what happens is I get up, draw my bow, and then drop the arrow because my arms are covered in spider. From all the stabbing.
Yeah, it's still like right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like bits of spider all down your front and on your arm.
Sexy.
Roll one comes bounding across to try and hit this spider.
Oh,
Oh.
And
roll one.
manages it. Manages it on the
Thank
second
goodness.
on the back swing. Yeah, and it just so as this you've dazed this spider and it's sort of, but it was managing to avoid these arrows and this wrench, and then roll one comes and just kind of just like backhands it across, and it just goes tumbling out of the way and then lands in a heap and still, and definitely all of them now sort of there's a quiet now that they all seem dead.
Well done, everyone, but especially me.
I think I'm sorry. I'm going to turn slowly to Sly. Like, you've never seen this sort of uncontrolled hysteria in Sly's in Sorry's eyes, and they're just like. I feel like I'm trembling a little bit as I slowly sort of pick up my crossbow, put it on my back. And then it's like weighing up, like what I should keep out, and I'm like, and I like put the shield and the Morning Star away and just hold the crossbow, like clutch it like a child, and look about.
I'll pat you on the back. And
Reloads it almost absent-mindedly.
There. Yeah.
Where?
Yes.
Where?
No. It is okay. Everything's fine. Remember that I'm showing good empathy, which is a very big leadership trait. Yes.
Yes. Astrid led me to that kill. Just have a moment of deep reflection. Roll one's like, eh. The fact I think that Sorry eventually hit it means a lot.
Yeah, worked out in the end. You hear from the entranceway. You hear some the old man is like, I didn't.
Amelia immediately scoops up the pistol and looks and points it in his direction. Who are you?
You passed me on the way in. I met your friends. Hello?
We are not friends. We are colleagues.
Okay.
And then she reaches into her bag and starts actually reloading the pistol.
I'll just, Sorry's gonna look at Amelia with that glance they have of suspicion and be like, They follow the new god. So they're cool. What about you?
She ignores the question and walks over to Raw One. Did Raw One take any damage during the fight?
A little bit. There's definitely a few sort of
Nicks.
Scrapes, and didn't take a lot of damage, but like, you know,
Well, I'm gonna
what's a small amount of damage for Raw One is troubling for. Like, he probably took more damage than anyone else here, so.
Which is kind of what
then,
he's there for.
Yeah, Amelia's gonna pull out another magic wrench and start jerry rigging
just
the small
smacking
bits of damage.
smacking the damage away.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
He
In the middle of
heals
this
for
crumbling church.
3, awesome. That most of it. There's still a couple of dings here and there, but you get you get most of it. As I said, it's gone quiet now that the spiders are dead. The sun is now definitely in the process of setting, so it's the last of the light seems to be is slowly seeing the shadow. You can sort of obviously see the shadows sort of creeping across this the cathedral as the light fades. And what do you do?
Once she's done tinkering with Raw One, she walks over to Sori and hands them the lantern and says, "If you're going to go on ahead, darling, then you should at least be able to see."
Thank you. That was kind. And then Sori awkwardly walks forward, a little troubled, because that was not black and white morality. Can I make another check specifically because I know we're looking for sort of signs of our enemy. Can I don't know how to phrase it. I want to investigate for any markings similar to those that we've seen associated.
Yeah, make a perception roll with and you have a boon on that. So make a perception roll with make it with 2 boons.
Oh, okay. I just rolled one. I'll roll another one. Oh, do I have to?
Just chuck a dice and then do
okay, and then do another roll altogether. Okay. Oh, damn, that was a good roll. I bet I wasted it. Anyway, I'll do my 2 boons, and then I'll roll my dice. Oh, it's still okay. 19. Same one.
Same result. You sort of look around, you do start seeing it's difficult given the age of the building, but the impression as you sort of explore is that you are finding these symbols, but they're not quite the same. The symbol you've been seeing is the sort of the vertical, almost like it's oval, or like a sometimes like it looks more like a ragged tear, and it's sometimes in a circle. The ones you're seeing are all in a circle, but the oval is horizontal, and it does look like a lot of them have been added. Like in some instances, it looks like the circle was there, and then the oval was added later, or like it might have been carved into the wall, but the circle was had been painted or what have you. And when you get to the the front where the altar is, you can kind of make out the altar. Like the altar itself is behind the altar is quite. It's you have to sort of maybe a lot of decay and dust and whatnot, but you see the symbol, quite large symbol of the Ouroboros and within it is the Ouroboros is actually, it's like an actual, like it's been built in, it's metal. But then painted, you can kind of, as you sort of like brush away, you can start making out the outline of, it looks like it's been painted on, but it's that oval, but now that oval is very distinctly an eye. And so on this much larger, more prominent one, it's definitely an eye within the Ouroboros.
Everyone, I have found blasphemy. And I call them all forward to look at the eye in the Ouroboros.
This symbol, we have been running into it everywhere. I am not surprised that it is related to this book.
The old man sort of.
New god.
Oh, so you go.
That's all right. I was just wondering, but why through the new god? An eye through the new god.
The old man's kind of looking at it, and he kind of whispers to him. It's almost like to himself. He's like, "It's true, huh? I did wonder." And he's kind of looking at
What
it.
is true, old man?
Oh, and he's staring up. He's like, "Well, the history of this place, and it's more. A lot of it is more almost myth. There's no records of it. It was as if the cult wanted it to be just removed from memory, but it was said that the sect that ran the cathedral, they focused on the third of Astrid's truths, that they're no god except for the gods created by mortals. They believed that it was imperative that the new god was freed from the shackles of mortal imagination. See, the Ouroboros it obviously represents the new god, but it was said that the eye was the world. It had to awaken, had to fully open, so that it and the new god were one. I always wondered if that was true, and the symbol, it's here. It's as they said. I thought it was just stories. Huh. Intriguing.
It's blasphemous to ignore the other truths in the face of one truth.
Oh, certainly. I mean, they were wiped out for a reason. And he sort of turns and kind of like shuffles away, just sort of idly looking at other things around the room.
So, we're dealing with a cult of the new god, a fractured, blaspheming piece of people.
It's technically a sect. A cult of the new god is the religion. It is the cult. The religion is the cult of the new god, and so a sect is a
but
group within that.
It's a baby cult. It's the
kind of like
cult
a cult
baby
within a cult.
of a cult.
There's a lot of like the cult of the new god is both one, like it's one unified religion, but within that religion, kind of like in it's kind of like if in Christianity all the different types of Christianity all still followed the Pope. Like if it wasn't just,
I think,
like,
yeah, I understand.
So,
I don't think Sorry understands.
Yeah, he would. I mean, he'd be aware that it's a thing because this is not an uncommon. It's not like frowned upon to have like different groups within the religion. It's just frowned upon when they start to pervert the message, as it were.
Okay.
That's when it gets. That's when things get a bit messy.
So Sam, architecturally, explored the main chamber. Are there doors to back rooms, or are we gonna have to go like down underneath the like what? Where can we go?
There
from
should
here?
be. There should definitely be. There should be like an area underneath the cathedral, but you haven't actually seen it. You should. There should be an entrance. It should actually be close to the altar, but it's not readily apparent, and which is a bit odd.
Well, I'm going to
Sorry,
have
darling.
a look around. Oh, sorry, of course.
Yes, please. If you could find us a way down, chances are that any true occult secrets are kept underneath the chapel. Give me a moment. I have something else for you, and this time, like Amelia takes off her amulet and lays it on the ground, and as we saw it do before, it sort of like spins and expands into like a magical circle. And she reaches like into the ground and pulls out what sort of looks like a small backpack with like a hose attached to it. And
Yes.
and she hands it over to Sari, and she says, "In case there are any more spiders that need burning." And she just holds out a flamethrower to Sari.
Oh,
Yes.
I think now
Amazing.
Sorry's really conflicted and touches it with like reverence and looks at Amelia. That's so generous. Let's put it on. Excitedly,
You're
like,
very kind of you.
slips it on.
Yes. Well, I'm relying on you to protect us, darling. And she also reaches into her bag and quaffs a small healing potion. And she grimaces as she does so.
Yeah.
How much
all right,
does a
I'm-
healing potion do?
They heal
Whatever your healing rate is.
usually.
Oh, I may also quaff such a potion.
Yeah, you should all have one.
Meanwhile,
I
I will.
only heal half from potions, unfortunately.
Yes,
I will
totally normal human.
go to search. But before
Yep.
I do, I'll look back at the Ouroboros with the graffitied sort of eye in the center of it and like lick my hand and start trying to furiously rub it off, and then like step away, just look, but then like be like.
And it does. It kind of just crumbles under. Like you don't even need to lick your hand. It's very old. And it's not like you're not rubbing it off. It's more that like the actual just like whatever coating was on the wall just peels away.
Nice.
And you can. It doesn't take a lot of effort to just, if you want to just remove the eye, you just remove it. And it kind of just like powders pretty simply.
Sorry's gonna be very pleased with themselves there.
And Sorry doesn't actually need to make this roll because he's, this is between being a ranger and, his tracking skills. You are able to, you notice as you're sort of moving around, and, as a religious person, you're aware of, you've been inside churches and cathedrals. They've got a very similar layout. And so you kind of like beeline to where this almost like, I guess, catacomb entrance should be. And as you get closer, you realize that the wall in this area there's a wall where it should be, but it doesn't look like it lines up with the rest of the building. And you sort of, it looks like someone has basically bricked up this area at a later date.
Cool. I'm gonna take my shield and give it a good wallop.
It just caves in.
Oh, that's so satisfying.
It just everything just crumbles, and then you see like a stairway going down underneath the cathedral.
Well spotted, darling.
Well done.
Thank you. But praise, I'll deal with that later. And then I'm gonna walk down the stairs. I still have now. I'm holding the lantern. and the flamethrower's on my back. Does it have like a way of like notching the nozzle so when I'm not carrying, so I can carry the lantern and my shield?
I presume so, yes.
Yeah. I'm actually just looking at it. I'm trying to work out how many, if it's actually one or two-handed. It doesn't seem to say.
Yeah, I didn't see it when I was writing it in.
Because you only need to have a single hand free when you summon it. So I think it's actually one-handed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can hold, you can hold something in your other hand. Yeah, you just need to be wary of someone using fire or lightning on you.
Yeah, because that would be bad.
Yeah, you've got a backpack full of volatile stuff.
Yep.
So be aware of that. But yeah, if you want the lantern in hand, or if you want shield in hand, or whatever you want in the other hand.
Yeah, well, if it's capable, can I like notch it on my back so that I can carry at the moment my shield and my lantern, so that if anything comes at me, my defenses up.
Oh yes, definitely.
That's okay. All right, cool. So I'm gonna lead the way that way, down into the catacombs. Do you want me to do a perception check to see what I see?
I will. What are the rest of you doing?
It's time to go.
A good distance behind.
Just following at a Make a sort of a perception roll.
Oh gosh, that was me, wasn't it? I was like, who's making the perception roll?
Yeah, sorry, Bree, make a perception roll with the boon.
Okay, got one boon, and then I got a straight 20. Whee! It's not great. 17. That'll do.
So as you sort of move down and get this under area of the cathedral, it's sort of, you start noticing that that symbol, the circle with the horizontal oval, with the eye, the Ouroboros with the eye inside, it does seem to be becoming more frequent as you descend, and you get this. It also just sort of feels colder as you get down, and you feel like it feels like you can hear. You keep feeling like you can hear voices, but you can't when you try and concentrate. You can't. It's not there.
I'm gonna continue on if everyone's following.
I would have looked to the priest and said, "You go before the kitty."
Pardon?
I wanted to put the priest between Amelia and Rowan.
Oh, he's like, certainly, and he does that.
Yeah, and then me at the end.
Sure. Yeah. As you all get down, you can all sort of you all obviously notice that it is getting colder as you go down, and it almost feels like there's like certain areas are colder than others, and then you enter this as you get to the bottom of these stairs. There's a sort of a much more expansive room. There's multiple doorways leading off from it, but you then get this sudden this cold becomes this quite pronounced chill. I'm just going to double check something.
Thank you for making it cold.
Just take yourself there, Chantal. Just take yourself there.
It's fine. It's not a problem at all.
Cooling, haunted catacomb.
Catacombs are great.
Well, I don't know. It's not where I want to like spend my summer, personally.
The ones in Paris are amazing.
It's a lot of dead people. It's a lot of dead people.
You are all around. There seems to be, and like as you get colder, you can actually start seeing. You see your breath as you breathe, and this mist seems to start forming. And as it does, this mist seems to sort of start to coalesce into these sort of spectral figures. And as they appear before you, is just a whole mass of them. You just feel dread gripping you. And I'm going to need you all to make will rolls with a bane.
Uh-oh. That's not my forte. And that's a bad bane. Come on, roll. Oh, nope, that's bad. I got 3.
As this sense of dread sets in, Amelia reaches up to her amulet and her eyes glow with pentacles again. I'm going to use another epiphany on this to get advantage, essentially.
Yeah.
Here's the base one. 10, but yeah, so 10.
Yeah. So Sly and Amelia, you're both you're able to sort of like work through it, but sorry, the fear just grips you. You're going to need to add 1 to your insanity.
Okie doke.
And you
2.
You are frightened, essentially, for
2
well, not in combat, but it would be for 2 rounds.
Yeah. Okay.
But but the other 2 are, given that you were a bit more clear about this, you sort of, one of the reasons is you seem to notice that they're not actually these sort of apparitions aren't doing anything to you. They're just sort of, there's a group of them, and as it becomes more and more clear, it just seems like they're going through these motions. They're not actually interacting with you at all. It's like they're reliving something that happened when they were alive. And you see a group of about maybe a dozen people who are seem to be in prayer. And in front of this group is someone who is giving some kind of speech, and and then there's a person who is restrained and bound, it seems, on their knees in front of this person. And as this happens, like that sense that you could hear a voice comes back, and then it's almost as if it's almost like a radio tuning into something. You can suddenly make it clear, and you just hear this person giving this speech, and it's just saying, it is human belief that manifests the triumphant God, but it is human imagination that limits the triumphant God. We put our own hopes, our own shackles on something that should be unknowable. And then sort of looks down, and it's like, you will be freed of the sin of imagination. And then proceeds to basically, I don't know if anyone has a medical profession in their within the group, but he basically is. So you're not really sure of the technical details, but it's he's doing a lobotomy.
Oh, good.
Ah!
Right.
With like a pick and a hammer, essentially. And it's clear that this person is A, not willing, and is B, just freaking out. And it's probably it might actually only be sorry you can hear someone other than the person, so you're hearing the screams, but the others aren't, which might be why you are a bit more affected,
frightened
by this.
If that's the
that
case,
would-
then Amelia would use her eavesdrop spell to be able to hear what's going on.
Well, you can hear the leader who is still chanting about
Okay.
the sins of imagination. You just can't hear the person screaming.
Oh, okay.
And all I hear is screaming.
You probably only hear the screaming, yes.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That's why I'm terrified.
But then it almost as quickly as this whole thing started, everything just drifts back into mist and goes away. And the chill, while not going completely away, stops being quite so cold as to be able to see your breath.
Oh, all the people like disappear. So it was like
They all just vanish. All these sort of these spectral apparitions just vanish.
I was so ready to shoot that guy.
Sorry,
at no point did they seem to be interacting with you. Well, they didn't seem to be aware of even aware of your presence.
Sorry's going to press onward, muttering about destroying the root of this foulness. Almost more determined for the fear that they just experienced.
So there's multiple doorways leading around. You probably can now see that you've sort of, given that you've just seen this, when you look at the spot where the kneeling figure was, you can see like where the restraints were, or at least like where they were restrained to the ground, at least.
Mm-hmm.
The chains probably aren't there.
Can I sense magic? I'm gonna cast sense magic. And
sure. What's the?
And
it's like a
5
meter pulse.
yard radius. Yeah, 5 meter radius around me, and I want to try and get as many of the doors into that radius as well as the shackles.
Sure. Yeah. There's definitely like a low level, almost like a background level of just like an echo of some very dark magic just within the whole area. But it there's definitely a few rooms where that feeling is stronger. And there's like, one room in particular seems to have like quite a strong feeling to it. And then there's like another, what looks like another stairway going further down. You also get a strong sense of that as well.
So I'll say dark magic suffuses this place. It seems strongest behind that door, or if we were to continue downwards.
Sorry's going to edge up towards the door, shield ready. To gently try and press on it.
Except for the lantern, there's no light down here. There was when these figures appeared, they were all like kind of glowing, have a low glow to them, but now they're gone, there's no other light down here except for that lantern.
Yeah. Can I go press on the door? Does it open?
There's a latch, but it's not locked.
Cool. I'll do that thing where I awkwardly, still with the lantern in my hand, try to open the door without putting the lantern down. You know when you got your keys in your hand and you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it work.
Yeah. You could probably lift the latch with the shield and sort of then push it so in a way the shield in front of you.
Yeah, let's do that then. That's much better.
As you open this this door, you're immediately sort of it seems like you see like almost like an autopsy table, old, and for like a brief, it almost feels like for like a second there's like a flash when the room is lit and new and there's a person on that table, and then it sort of flashes away and it's now again it's dark and it's dusty and this table is decrepit and rusty. There's crumbling shelves all around the room, but you hear again. It's kind of like I guess it's also similar to like a scuttling noise, but it's a lot softer than it was previously. So it's similar but much softer sound, just sort of coming from just the room in general.
Can we all hear that noise?
Depends. If you're close, like if you're relatively close to Sorry, then yeah, you'd hear it as well.
Sorry's going to make their way to the center of the room where the table is. Do I notice anything, any markings or any items left behind that might be more further indication of this group? What they
and there's
are.
more of that. There's some writing. I don't think you would be able to
I
read
can't
it.
read it, no.
I think you can read. You can read Common. It's not written in Common, but you would recognize from religious things. This is probably it's high archaic. So it's an old language that isn't really used outside of magic or scholarly areas, and some old texts within the church would use it.
Is that
so you
fixed on anything, or is it like is it on papers? Is it in books?
Well, there's everything. Like there's remnants of things, but it's this place has been ruined for centuries. So most of like anything paper would have just sort of is probably gone. And there's also like it does look like there was a fire in here at one point. But
all right,
I need you to make a perception roll. You'll probably get two boons on this one.
Okie doke. 2 boons. And a nat 20.
Yeah.
So just for 25.
So as you are doing this, you see these, you see the fire, but then that's that scuttling noise again. So you start looking around the room and peering out at you from like the corners of the room or from coming out from under some of the debris. You just see a bunch of eyeballs just looking at you.
Is it too dark to see what they're set in, or are they literally like floating eyeballs?
It initially seems to be floating eyeballs, but then as you sort of like look closer, you start seeing that they are moving around on these like little, very slender. It looks like someone's removed an eyeball, and the nerve endings and whatnot have sort of split into little like spindly legs, spider-like legs, and they are holding it up, and they're crawling. Like some of them are crawling, like clinging to the wall. Some of them are clinging to the ceiling. Some of them are on the ground, and they're all just staring at you. And you need to again make a will roll, and you're going to need to make a bane with that roll.
Okie doke. Bane on my roll. Wait, no, and then will. Nope, -3.
Oh, everything about this is wrong, and your body is screaming at you to leave. You need to add another point of insanity, and you are also again frightened.
Cool. So I'm standing there, shrieking hysterically again, but even worse than the spider shrieking.
What's happening? Get out of there!
It does look like
I
at that when
I'm like frightened. Can I move?
You're frightened. You can definitely start making your way out, but we are sort of like moving into as they are kind of like rushing at you. So
okay.
We're kind of in combat, but you are what's you get to go first. It's the players go first. So if you want to make a fast round and just leave, then that's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm frightened. I'm gonna run out into the room with the others, screaming, the eyes.
You could, if you wanted to, you could swap out like something for the flamethrower if you want to.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna be honest. I reckon as I'm running in, I drop the lantern. Not like smash it, but like run, drop it, and take out my flamethrower.
Place it on the ground, pull out flamethrower.
Yeah, place it on the ground, yeah.
what's everyone else doing when this happens?
The eyes, the eyes.
They saw you. They saw you. I'm going to just prepare for I don't know what, because you've just said eyes.
In what way
Yeah,
are you preparing?
I'm going to say, rule 1, attack the eyes.
Attack the eyes.
Nice.
I don't know what
Big
rule
Ron,
I'm going to
you-
think about
our
that.
new priest friend is about to get some ocular surgery.
Oi.
He's sort of at the back of the room, just kind of like he's kind of very startled, like he's next to Raw One essentially, and he's very sort of like saw his reaction. He's like, "Ugh."
Can I see the eyes?
If you look into the room, yeah, you can see them moving around, though you'll have to take a will challenge roll.
I will see these eyes.
Yes.
Ooh.
So make a will roll.
Ooh. Sorry, I just realized something. I was just checking up on frightened. I can't take fast turns, so what I just did will have to have happened in the slow.
I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah, frightened.
So
Can't
yeah,
take
you
fast
are in
turns.
the middle of the room, just screaming.
Yep. Cool.
So you haven't. So you're just screaming the eyes in the middle of a room by yourself.
Yep.
It's fine.
Rule
Standard
1,
Friday
help
night.
sorry
You know.
is what I'm going to have to say then.
You're very quiet just then.
Oh. I will have to
That's
say,
better.
rule 1, help sorry.
Oh yeah, awesome. What are you doing? What else are you doing with your turn? If you can see the eyes, you have to make a will roll. Though.
I think I'm eventually going to see them anyway, so I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Oh my.
No. They're also, it's like when you see them, you also get that feeling of just like, no, this is not okay. I need to not be here. And you will also gain a point of insanity, and you will be also now frightened for
3 rounds.
4 rounds. In
Is that
fact,
how it works?
well, whatever your new
Your
insanity
insanity
is.
+1? But I just
Gain-
changed it. So my new insanity is
Oh,
3.
okay. Sorry. Yes. So yeah, for 3 rounds, you're. But you can finish this dark. You'll finish what you're doing, I guess, and then from next turn you'll have to start taking slow actions.
Okay.
So what did you just move up to the room? Was that your turn?
Yeah.
Okay. And is Amelia doing anything in the fast round?
Yeah, I'm gonna look into this room, but I have dark vision. Do I see anything more than floating eyes?
Well, you get a clearer look at them, and like you can sort of definitely see that they are all these, like as I said, like their eyeballs just being held up by these sort of spindly, almost like it's almost like they're very thin, like almost like hair-like legs that are sort of holding them up, and just seems to be a mass of them. So it gives them a spider-like quality, but it is just like an eyeball on top of these little tendrils. They're very small as well. They're sort of like.
I presume I need to also make a will roll.
Yes, now that you've seen them, yes.
Do I have a boon for my academic pursuing of the occult?
No.
No, I didn't.
You might be, though you probably are aware of what these actually are.
Oh,
but it doesn't help you with the dealing with the fear of them.
Okay, well, I'll use my last epiphany to have advantage on this again. It's a 13.
Yeah, so you are able to restrain yourself, and with your various academic studies, these are what they call lash crawlers. They are they kind of like appear almost spontaneously in areas that have been scarred by reckless magic, and they try to feed off living creatures and they use eyeballs to reproduce. So
Not mine.
I am going to slam my amulet down onto the ground and summon a bolt thrower tower.
yeah, where are you trying to position it?
Sort of just outside the door so people can still come in and out, but it can shoot in.
Sure,
Does that
yeah,
make
yeah,
sense?
definitely.
Yeah, so the pentacle like expands into this little circle, sort of magical circle, and then it grows up into a tower. I mean, I say turret, I should say, rather than tower,
Awesome.
Nice.
with a little ballista on it. All right.
So on Raw 1, kind of just barrels its way into the room.
Thank you, Raw One.
And will it just crushes one underfoot. Just stomps on it. But the other ones, you feel like a couple of them sort of focusing more and more on you, and it almost feels like their stare is actually like burrowing into your head.
Nice. That's my favorite.
It's like you take 11 damage.
Gee whiz.
And even though everything about this is telling you to leave, you're actually finding yourself walking further into the room.
Okie doke.
You basically take 2 steps into the room.
All right.
The other one, the one that the one Amelia and Sly, both you are sort of looking at one, and it sort of meets your each of you have one of these things meeting your gaze, and again you also now start feeling this pressure in your head. And so for Amelia, it hurts, but it's not damaging, and for Sly, same. It's sort of you can feel that this pressure building, but it's not actually damaging you at this point.
So is that their fast turn? So is it then my turn on the flow?
So yeah, that was them going fast. Yes. So you.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
Great.
All right. So on the slow, I'm not running out because I just stepped further into the room. I'm going to attack with the flamethrower. Now, what are the rules for the flamethrower, Jamie? I believe you have them. Is it just an agility roll?
Yeah,
it's sort of like a line of fire.
Yeah, so
it's a 5
I don't have
by
to,
1 meter line.
Yeah, as many as I can get in that 5 by 1 meter. I'm going to expend.
You can maneuver to get at least 2. You get like 2 of them.
Okay.
You get 6 uses of the flamethrower total.
Sweet.
Like mark down 1 out of 6.
Oof.
So roll. I think it's 2d6 is the damage.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
2d6 fire damage. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Where are we?
If you right-click the d6, it should come up with a bunch of numbers, and you can just.
There we go. 10.
Yeah, one of them tries to get out of the way, but they both just burn up and into nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
So, I think with the searing pain as well. Sorry, it's just like Gah! And like wildly sprayed it.
Yeah.
Because
you sort of hose these things down with fire, and they.
In fact, and then can I spend my triggered action catching my breath, using catch a breath?
Definitely, yes.
I'm going to heal my healing rate, which is awesome because that brings me down a lot. All right, great. And that will be my turn.
Yeah, top of the round.
No, not yet.
Amelia's the only
Oh,
one. Who,
no.
oh, sorry. Oh no, the bolt
Slide.
thrower. Yes, bolt thrower.
But also Slide.
Well,
Couldn't take a fast
yeah,
turn.
so-
I was frightened.
yeah, Sly.
Well, you
go
made it.
first.
You did a fast turn. So next round, you're not going to be able to, because you moved up to the room, and then got frightened. So from this point, from next round on,
right.
you can't make. Yeah.
Right.
Victor's going to take a slow turn to walk in there and try and attack one.
Oh, Victor can't take slow turns. I'm sorry.
Oh, can't he?
Victor is compelled.
Oh no, yeah,
so-
he's compelled.
So
He has to take
same as roll one,
fast.
has to be fast.
Oh, okay. Well, then he'll like run up to the room so that he can attack them next turn.
Yeah.
But at the end of the round, the bolt thrower shoots at one of the remaining ones. Yeah. So 22. So it takes 3d6. I'll roll the crossbow turret and then just add a d6. Yeah, it's a lot of damage. It's 12 damage.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen an eyeball get hit by a crossbow bolt, but an eyeball just got hit by a crossbow bolt.
Wait.
So it's just not. There's only one left, and we go to the top of the round.
Who wants to take it out? Oh, you guys can only take slow turns.
Oh yeah, we can only go slow. Yeah, it's you.
Okay.
You're the only one. You and the
Victor-
robot friends are the only ones who can go.
Well, Victor will have a shot at it. Oh, he actually did something.
Hits.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. He does 1 damage.
Yay.
Doesn't. I mean, hurts it obviously, but it's not.
Yeah. While he's scrabbling at its weird hair legs, I'll try and shoot it with the pistol, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I'll use another augmented attack. My last one. 18
Hits.
to hit.
Definitely hits.
Pew, pew. Oh man, really?
Oh,
Oh,
you only just kind of graze it, and it's still up and about. At which point, roll one sort of bounds across and just crushes it.
Okay.
Just
thanks for a one.
again, just stands on it, and
Yay.
it just goes squelch. And everyone is able to sort of take about half a minute to regain their composure after dealing with these things.
Oh, sorry, it's definitely seen some shit now. They're having a day. Sorry is having a freaking day.
It's a day.
And I think Sorry is also going to turn to Amelia and be like, thank you for this. It lit my path when I could not see. Literally.
You're
And
welcome,
then-
darling.
You couldn't see.
Perhaps a little less shrieking next time. Yes?
I will try, but I cannot make this promise.
It's like, yeah, no, I'm not making that promise.
Perhaps if the shrieking could do some kind of damage.
I'll work on that. And Sorry's going to make their way towards the stairs that we also felt the emanating magicness from.
Can I turn to the priest on the way back and just say, what do you make of all of this?
Yeah, how they're doing.
He's sort of looks. He's looking at He sort of like peers into the room, and he's like, "Well, like I said, the stories talk that the sect, their beliefs turned dark. They felt that it wasn't just a need to not imagine other gods. It was that mortals could not be trusted with imagination at all. I knew they were destroyed for something, and now I guess it was this. They turned to very unconscionable behaviors, very practices. As for the creatures, I couldn't tell you. I don't know what those were.
I've heard of them before. Nasty little things. She just sort of like.
What are
kicks on
they?
the eyeballs. What did you call them, Sam?
Lash crawlers.
Ugh.
Do I know anything about like what their purpose is?
It's more that like they're a like a sort of, they're almost like a side effect of, as I said, like they appear kind of spontaneously in places that are scarred by just reckless magic, and then they basically, to reproduce what they need eyeballs. So so what they were doing to Sorry, is basically that's how they feed. That pain is then feeding off your life energy, and when that ran out, they would use your eyeballs to make new lash crawlers.
Yeah. So I say,
they
are little demonic parasites. They are attracted to places of great tragedy and darkness, and they try to lure others in to create more of their kind. Be grateful they did not eat you.
I am very grateful. In terms of the lash crawlers, how many were there?
About 5.
Right, so enough for... Sly's going to spend some time trying to figure out how there were 5. Someone must have been missing.
I mean, well, like as Amelia made the point, like initially they are just sort of like brought into being spontaneously. Like they don't need. It's once they've been brought in that they start trying to take people's eyes, I guess. So it's potentially that these ones weren't. This might be the first time these ones have actually encountered people, but because this area and maybe this room particularly is like, as you look around, it is something, you can only imagine that whatever was done here was unpleasant, and that the echoes of that have that's what created the crawlers, rather than them actually being born, I guess.
Onward and downward.
So sorry, were you taking point again as you head down these stairs?
Yeah, although I'm getting crazy. This is affecting Sorry, but I think, as a flagellating being, Sorry's like, well, let's keep beating this. And I'm going to head down.
It's fine.
With the lantern, lantern and shield combo. Make my way down.
I mean, as long as your insanity isn't the same as your will score, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, it's gonna get there at this rate.
You continue down.
Roll one. Perhaps you should follow. Sorry, we might need you in the front lines this time.
Which roll one dutifully does.
Good call.
And as you continue down into the depths, you see that these symbols become more and more frequent. In fact, they almost start to get frantic, in like it's almost like they're just placed almost like manically, and like you can see in places where it's almost like someone that almost was like with a paintbrush was just rapidly just doing one after the other, trying to do as many as possible as quickly as possible. And it gets more and more dense to the point where it's almost like there's not like a part of the wall that doesn't have this symbol on it as you get further and further down. And then you reach this. Gets to the bottom of these stairs, and there's just a doorway.
I guess I'll sense
in front of
magic
you.
again. If I can.
Yeah. There's definitely still that background. It's not like the same as before when there was but it is definitely stronger than the sort of combined area. But it's not as strong, I guess, as the area with the crawlers. But it is still definitely there's definitely some dark magic radiating out of that room. And you the door. It also seems like there's less decay here, potentially because it's just like they've gone further down and it's just drier, and it's like there's been less chance for rot to set in. So everything's a bit more put together here. So how do you proceed?
Fuck it. Sorry's just gonna go for the door again. Like, head on through, leading the charge.
You enter this room, and it's quite expansive, and this room is actually lit. There are sconces in the wall that have burning torches in them. And as you enter this room, you sort of look around, and it seems to be this almost like a secondary place of worship. So similar to the ground level, but with a much smaller scale. And the wall seems to have this almost mural going around it of at the back of the room is that and very prominently is that symbol of the Ouroboros with the eye, and then coming from around it, there's a lot of people in positions of supplication and worship, having painted all around the room. But within the room are just bodies, like almost like a pile of bodies, old, desiccated, very dead, and it would seem like at some point this room was set on fire. So, but it doesn't look like rot.
I'm immediately just going to hold an action of attacking anything that immediately appears, because I've been caught off guard. So
it's the sort of thing where, like, if it wasn't for like what the rest of your day's been like, this actually might be troubling. But it's like this at this point, you're just like, yep,
Yep, I'm like, bring it on. Bring it on.
Desiccated, burnt corpses. It's fine. It's not an eyeball that's eating my brain. It's okay.
Yep. But I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and be ready to shoot anything that might start up.
I assume you all just go into the room.
I'm gonna say to the priest, "Are you surprised? Does he look surprised by the fact there are lit sconces?"
No, not at all.
Huh. I will also hold an attack.
Yep.
He is sort of peering around the room. He's sort of looking around. He's like, this is where they made their final stand. The cult of the new god learnt of their activities and sent a force to, purge their heresy.
You know a lot about these people.
Well, I've had time to study. Though, like I said, never actually had a chance to go inside. It's one thing to read the history. It's another thing entirely to actually see it. Wouldn't you agree, Lady Hibbit-a-Gibbet?
Right.
And as he says that, his being, I guess, seems to blur, and he, as it does, he sort of stands upright,
Yep.
And
time
then
to stab.
I knew it was this fucking guy.
Stab, stab.
Yeah.
and it is
Stabby, stab,
it's
stab,
it's
stab.
Nathaniel. It's Nathaniel
Douchebag.
Hibben.
Nathaniel
Who was?
douchebag is what's written in my notes.
Nathaniel douchebag.
Yeah, I mean,
Stabby,
I
stab,
also
stab,
have
stab.
Nathaniel from the auction, douche, written in my notes.
Yeah.
I
One
don't
of
have
mine says
notes for that
Nathaniel
session,
douchebag. We're
but I
on the
have
same.
written
We're on the
bits.
same wavelength.
So, Sly, what were you preparing to attack with?
My dagger. Yeah, my dagger. That's what I've said now.
And I also have my flamethrower prepped. I was prepped.
Do you also flamethrower?
Yes.
Throw some flame.
So, I'm assuming the flamethrower happens before Sly gets there, but
Yeah.
that all happens definitely. And then
Yeah.
after it clears, your knife just goes like it's as if he's not. It's just it's like there's nothing there. You're swinging at air,
Ugh.
and he's sort of standing there.
What
And
the
he's like,
fuck?
"Oh, please, I'm not going to lock myself in a room with you. That would be silly. But I did want to see if you worked it out. It has been fun spending time with you again. I've missed you."
Why didn't I pick up the magic on him when I sensed it before?
You did. You always picked up dark magic. It's fusing the entire area.
Just not
Uh,
clearly enough.
Well,
He sort of looks around and goes, "I have always wanted to visit this cathedral, though, so thank you for this opportunity."
It is
most
such a shame you
informative.
could not be here in person, Nathaniel.
I would have liked to, but duty calls, I'm sure you're aware. This was my best option.
So what is it this time? Walking corpses? She
No.
looks over at the pile.
He sort of looks, he's like, "No. I wanted you to see all this. I wanted you to... Well, you've been flailing around for so long, I thought you should at least get something for your efforts. And this is the beginning of everything. This is where it started. It's not where it's going to end, of course. But I thought you might appreciate a display. See, I'm not worried about what your little organization is doing. You can flail around all you want. You're not going to do anything. But I don't think you understand that. And I think it's time you did. So I'd like you to meet a friend of mine, an associate, one of my people. And I want you to remember that it's just one. And as he says that, he just sort of fades away. And suddenly you hear these very heavy footfalls, this clanging metal coming down the stairs. And you sort of turn and look at the doorway, and there is a male-clad knight sort of filling the doorway, and this sort of voice coming out of this helmet says, "It is my honor to show you pain and suffering that you might find clarity." And he draws his sword.
I think Sorry actually grins at this and is like, a worthy opponent.
This I understand.
That's what I do.
Person in armor, that I get.
Pain and suffering to develop self, that's my thing. That and being a ranger. Those are my two things. Get ready.
That's your jam.
So I'm like, flamethrower, locked and ready, shield up. This is gonna get fun.
Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Straight into combat.
All right,
Straight
fast
in.
turn. I'm gonna go for it. I want to fire the flamethrower at the fucker.
Yeah.
Beep, beep, beep. So they got to make an
Uh,
So he's
agility
in the
roll.
doorway, and we're like inside the room. Is that right?
Yes. So he was kind of behind you, and Nathaniel had been off to the side of the room. He was sort of looking at wandering around a little bit as he was making his speech.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So
Oh no.
the knight kind of like pulls up the shield and is able to sort of protect himself, and he sort of moves quite efficiently to the side and slightly into the room. So roll a 2d6.
And
He's
he'll
still,
take
still going
half
to do
of
a
it.
bit of damage.
Yeah,
But
not a lot.
yeah.
Bugger. 5, so 2.2. Well, 2. Not
Yeah.
2.5, but 2. Down.
Anyone else? What are the rest of us doing?
Am I within melee range?
No.
In that case,
You're all definitely within like a movement of this guy, but no one's within melee.
what kind of a sword is it that he has?
Just a
Yes,
like
standard steel.
a knight's. Yeah, it looks like it'd be a knight's, like a steel sword. Doesn't look fancy.
I'm going
it
to
just
shoot him.
Yeah. Trickery.
I'm going to shoot a bow. Yes, I will definitely use trickery. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's helpful.
Yeah, you did, and you got the opportunity, so you can get to make another go. So bow with trickery, 2d6 damage.
Yep.
Nice, yeah, it's a solid
Yeah.
hit.
That's nice. Yeah. So I'm going to immediately draw again and do another one.
Yeah.
This time
badass.
without the... Whew, yes. Hopefully.
Yeah, hits.
Awesome.
On a roll.
No trickery this time.
4
Okay.
damage.
Gee, Chantal. Sly
Stay
life, huh?
back. Sly.
And
Sly.
he's able to sort of like maneuver to absorb, to not make, to deflect as much of it as possible. But they were still quite heavy, heavy hits on this guy. You can't tell because he's wearing a enclosed helmet, but it feels like he started to grin.
Oh, I hate it when you could feel a grin. Oh, so invasive.
Oh, you're one of those, yeah.
Yeah.
Victor's gonna charge in, so he gets a bang. I have to do it manually, unfortunately. So it's -2 on the. He misses, but he's charged into the thing and scrabbling at it. And I'm gonna summon my second bolt thrower.
Cool.
Sort of in the middle of the room near the pile of corpses. And then I'm going to use a triggered action celerity spell to back up my speed and like sort of get behind the bolt thrower.
Yeah.
So I can still see him, but that I'm on the far side of the room.
Definitely.
Okay. I think that's all of us, except Raw.
Yeah.
I assume someone's would have just told him Raw to.
Oh yeah, I say engage the enemy. Roll 1.
Engage
roll
the enemy.
roll 1 charges in.
Make it so.
And yeah, it does really well.
Yeah, manages to smack him anyway.
Just like this one, he actually sort of has to like really sort of, the shield, but it's like just pounding on this guy's shield, and you can see him almost sort of like he does kind of flint, he sort of like reels a little bit from this one. and then he sort of pulls himself up a bit, and he's actually going to rush past both of these, so they will both get both Raw 1 and Victor get opportunity attacks,
Ooh. Roll.
which Raw 1 was
Victor did.
successful with, and he basically sort
I
of
presume
moves.
a 10 misses on the armor.
No. He sort of moves around and pushes past and he goes beelines for Sly.
Wow.
And as he basically as he walks up, comes up to Sly, and he just slams into you with his shield.
Ow. Oh no.
So many boons.
Oh no.
Which hits.
Jesus, a D20 of damage? No, that's a strength check. Okay.
Yeah, that's straight. I was like, what?
Hits you for 13 damage though.
And I'm impaired because presumably am I impaired by that?
You mean?
Well, you are potentially injured, which we'll just quickly check.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
you're
no.
fine. Oh, you're injured.
Okay.
You don't take the injury.
Yeah.
But you are knocked off your feet and prone. And basically,
Okay.
he basically sort of knocks you almost like he sort of lifts you almost off the ground with his shield, and then as he comes down, he's drives down with the sword. Which is.
Can I recover? No, wait. What? How do I trigger healing something?
You can drink a potion,
Your healing is an action.
but it's an action.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
So but on that note, you take another 11 damage.
Oh,
I'm
As you
definitely down.
Just
Very much down.
He slams you up in the air with the shield. As you come down, he's 2 attacks. So he hits you with the shield, knocking you into the knocking you up and off your feet, and then as you're coming down, he just like skewers you down with the sword. At which point you revert to your changeling form. You lose your disguise.
Sticks and twigs.
and mud.
Yeah, it looks like a scarecrow made of sticks and twigs and dirt.
Yummy.
Ow.
Well, that's bad. All right.
The bolt thrower
Yeah,
goes
sort
off
of-
at the end of the round.
Yeah.
Does a 17 hit?
Yes, it does.
He takes 6 more damage.
Nice.
Yeah, go bolt thrower.
He is sort of like he's definitely like, he's not a lot of that sort of like early on is just like taking these hits, and now it's now seeming to actually sort of impact on him. But we're going to the top of the round.
I'm gonna fire the pistol with a resounding attack. So
Yeah.
I make the attack with intelligence and a boon, and if it hits, he becomes dazed for a round.
Oh,
Okay.
This is a big one for us.
yeah.
A 19 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Yes.
Alright, he can't take actions this turn.
Yes. Oh, fucking nailed it. Well done.
And he takes damage. Pistol damage. 10 pistol damage.
Amazing.
Yeah, he kind of like drops to a knee at this point, and he's kind of like just trying to pull himself up. Who else?
I'm not within reach of Sly, am I?
You can move up to him, but you're not next to him. No.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for my slow. I'm gonna take a slow then.
Okay.
Take him down.
What is Victor doing?
Just he'll charge back in, I guess. That should just be a 2, not a 5. Sorry. So
Roll 1 will go as well, won't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Victor charges over and misses again.
Roll 1. He's just like, again, he's on his knees, and he's just like, roll 1's pounding away, and this guy's just like holding up his shield, and he's just sort of, there's a definite air of desperation now.
Okay, screw it. I'm gonna run over to Sorry's gonna run over to Sly, and I'm gonna attempt to stabilize Sly.
If you have a potion, you can just pour the potion.
Oh, sweet! I do have my potion. Can I do that? Sweet! I give my potion
yeah.
to Sly. I crack the
Yeah,
jar
sort of
open and drain it in.
Yeah, pour into his mouth.
Sweet.
Which,
What?
I guess, well, he can't take action, so end of the round, crossbow goes off, and Sly, you heal whatever your healing rate is.
So with the wounds that I took, that took me up to 24. Do I just go back to what my health was? Does it work like D&D, or does it work?
You remove. So your wounds only goes up to whatever your
Max health is.
Your max health is. You're at 18 wounds,
Yeah.
and then you reduce that by 4, which is your healing rate.
I'm down to 14.
And you're still prone and on the ground, but you are conscious and not incapacitated.
And presumably underneath him.
The crossbow hits as well.
It's another 7 damage.
Ooh.
Yes,
Right.
thank God for the crossbow.
Yeah, he's not able to. He sort of pulls himself up, and he sort of looks around and is like, "I am one, but we have many. Look how much effort it took you just for this." And he sort of pulls himself into, he's clearly on his last legs, but he's sort of pulling himself into like a fighting stance and just sort of like taunting a lot of you.
Throw a fucking wrench at him. Fuck this guy.
I hope the wrench takes it.
Yes, please let the wrench do it.
17.
Yes!
Tell me how you kill this guy with a wrench.
He takes 4. He's like mid-sentence,
And then-
I just like reach into this pentacle and just peg a wrench at his helmet, and it just falls off. And I don't know if there's a guy inside or not, but that's a
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know
a
what
person.
this thing is. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's like
it's,
helmet goes flying.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
So
he's
fitting.
actually sort of like, it's this sort of, yeah, it's this is like this sort of this clearly very, it's warrior type, but he's like,
Yeah.
a bit bloody now
Well-
because of from wrench to the face. Take a fortune for that as well.
Well,
That's fantastic.
The
That's
wrench
actually
the
fantastic.
wrench
Yeah.
knocks things prone. So the way he's finished off is that like it off balances him, and he falls backwards, and Victor's tail just like goes straight through the back of his head and like out his eye.
Yeah. It's just sort of like, I am one, but we are, ow, fuck! The eye crawls away. No, that's not what happens. Yeah, this guy's quite dead. And yeah, you're in a... What do you do?
I need to look around the
Sly's
space for more concrete
awake
evidence
now?
about this group.
Flies away.
Sly is up. Yeah, Sly, the healing potion did its work.
I'm going to use my dagger to help me stand up. Was there a guy in there?
A guy in where?
In the when the helmet came
Oh,
off,
there's a
was there
person.
actually
Yeah,
someone
there's
in
a person. There's a person in the armor. Yeah.
Right.
Um,
there? Damn, he's not alive. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, can I quickly investigate? Is there any further, more concrete signs? Anything we can take back?
Mm.
Make a perception roll.
With a boon,
Yes.
a boon, and then a straight 20. Blah blah. That's a 14.
Yeah, there's you sort of look around, and a lot of it, as I said, there's a lot of fire damage in this room. But you actually, as you start, you eventually start actually like looking over these bodies, and you sort of roll one of them over, and one of them is just like clutching to its chest is this kind of tome, which seems to be used their body to protect it, and it's damaged obviously from time, and it wasn't completely protected, but there does seem to be some information still in there. A lot of talk of it seems to be referring to themselves as the seekers of unknowable truth, and they wanted to free the god triumphant. There was a lot of that talk, and
Cool.
but then you do notice that it's almost like it seems to be a mix of like a research journal, but also almost like a diary at times. And at the last entry, there's a lot of damage, but you can still make out a little section, and it just says they've sent the cult has sent the knights. Our work is doomed to fail, and that's the last thing it says.
Well, that's cheery. Shall we go?
I know that you mean well, sorry, but religion, it always leads to these things. Infighting, darkness, sects.
Sex. No sex.
Invisible. Ooh.
Sects. Sorry, it is my accent.
I don't want to have sex with you, Amelia. Mostly because
No
I
one can
think
blame
you
you.
kind of smell like death, but you're nice and I am conflicted. Can we please leave? I have feelings to flagellate.
I have feelings to flagellate.
Very bluntly put.
Speaking of t-shirts, we need.
Yeah.
You have time. You definitely have time to do a more, I guess, thorough search, but you'll need to leave to get back in time.
Yeah, we want to be there before morning.
There's not much left.
Creep
Like
the
everything
place on
else,
the way out.
everything outside of this room is definitely probably far too decayed or just too damaged to be of use. But it seems whether it was like the depth of that room, or if there was some kind of like that magic that sort of permeates this whole area, that area was sort of less affected by time by the time that's passed.
Was there any magic specifically on the knight? Because I had one more use of sense magic. Like,
no, he appears to be entirely very mundane.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow.
He's just a powerful dude.
Yeah.
What a specimen.
Though I suppose if you are, when you do sort of look over, if you do sort of search him, you find both the symbol that you're more familiar with, similar to what you've been seeing, but with a vertical, not horizontal oval. And when you're able to compare the two, it's definitely the ones that you've been seeing here in the cathedral. Are the Ouroboros with the eye, where this one is similar. It doesn't appear to like the oval looks more ragged, and it looks more like an eye looking through a tear rather than an eye itself.
Yeah, the symbol that we've seen before
So that's the symbol you've been seeing. So, but it's very clear once you're able to compare the two. You're like, oh, okay, I see this. You also notice it was the knight had a kind of belt around his leg, and it was like a spiked belt, and the spikes are all going inwards into his leg, and it's quite tightly wrapped around his leg. So you do notice that he was wearing that, I guess.
Oh.
All right.
I'm sorry, perhaps you could have been friends with him.
I think, Sorry's like, I would have liked to compare methods, but he's obviously flawed.
It's definitely pretty self-evident, like how it's used. It's not like a complex mechanism.
That's me being silly.
Did you take it, or he's like leaving it? He's like, oh, that's interesting. Or
Oh no, I don't want anything that's on his body. That's bad stuff.
it's definitely reasonable. It's like
Blasphemer, not my business. But yes, ready to go, ready to head off. I have the book as proof and a little bit more information about it.
You take time to be so that you are clear that there is nothing else that you could find here, and then you are back and able to integrate with the other guards at the keep well before you would need to leave, and you head back. You join the convoy, and when everything, as far as you can tell, everything went completely smoothly on that end. So you just leave, and you make your way back, and ultimately back towards the headquarters. Successful mission. Congratulations.
Yay!
We did it.
We all survived once again.
Yeah. You got to hang out with an old friend.
It was bloody close that time.
Can I just point out, when you decided that all three people would be the same people from the auction house, I thought that was hilarious. Knowing what was going to happen, I was like, that's fantastic that it's the three of you again getting to meet Nathaniel. I thought but before we head off, let's just whip round, let everyone know once again who you are, how they find you, and what you were doing that they might be interested in. Jamie.
I am Jamie Collett. I am at Muffin Manifesto on Twitter. You can find me there, or on my website, jamie-collett.com. I'm a voice actor based in Sydney, and I'm about to go and see Captain Marvel, and I'm excited, and yay. Thanks for watching.
Oh, cool.
It's awesome.
And I am Rhiannon Mauschel. You can find me at RS Mauschel on Twitter, and I am a voice actor, singer, performer, all the things. And I'm currently a featured voice actor on the Penny Peep Show podcast. Please check us out. Lots of interesting comedies, and one that I've created coming up soon. Thank you.
Oh, awesome.
Exciting. I've been watching it, listening to it.
Oh, thank you.
I am Chantal Benjamin. You can find me at Chantal B on Twitter. I am usually a Sydney-based actor, but I'm currently in Brisbane. Hey.
Woo.
Hence the unbearable heat.
Oh, yes.
And I am Sammy P. I'm another performer as well. I also sometimes do some YouTube content on Sammy P Productions on YouTube, where I play role-playing games like Pathfinder Kingmaker, and I turn off all the voices, so I have to do all the voices myself, so I can convince myself that I'm spending my time practicing voice acting. We also would normally be joined by Zane, but as I said, he is currently auditioning people for his project, and that project is the 24-hour musical project. If you Google 24-hour musical project, and 24 is the numbers, not the words, you should be able to find it, and there's ways to support that. It's a thing where they, within 24 hours, they will rehearse and then perform a full musical that none of the actors or musicians know what it is before they start the rehearsal, and all the proceeds go to charity. So check that out, and if you're in the area, you can go watch it. If you're not, you can still support them. But otherwise, thank you very much for joining us today. For everyone watching on Twitch, thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, and once again, our wonderful sponsors for this show are Fantasy Grounds, which is our virtual tabletop of choice, Wayland Games, where you can get all your miniatures, and Tabletop Loot, who will sell incredible dice. That is it for us. There's still more amazing content coming up on Encounter Roleplay, so stay tuned for that. And until next week, have fun.